Colonel! Oh my goodness!
Right on to Nilton. He tipped him.
Bobby out with a shot. Upper corner, top shelf.
Oh, what a goal!
Out to Reagan. He's out for game winner.
Something about
Love
that
that
music
song.
just
I
puts
love
me
it.
in the mood, man. What's going on, everybody? MASL Monday. Alex Bastiavansky, Phil Levanco. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can catch us every Monday on CBS Sports Golazo, MASL TV on YouTube, and on your podcast app. We are so happy to be here. Phil, how was your snowy weekend in Utica, New York? Roll the video, my friend, and show us how your weekend was. This is cheating a little bit. This is Phil from a couple of years ago, right? What exactly happened to you, Phil?
So we moved to Utica, and I didn't think I needed a snowblower, right? So I thought I'd cut a corner here with an electric shovel, thinking it would do the same thing. But as you can see, not exactly performing well in the snowy months of Utica, New York. I don't know if you noticed the cord that was attached to it as well.
Yes.
So this video was taken by my lovely wife as I tried to, dig out our driveway many years ago when we first moved.
The wind is blowing it just right back in your face every single time. There's no escaping it.
Needless to say, I have learned very quickly that I needed a snowblower in central New York.
That takes me back to my Toronto days. That's why I moved to Vancouver. Yeah. It's rain instead of snow, but I was playing tennis outdoors this weekend in the middle of December. So I do not miss the snowblower days at all, but I will have the snow in about a week when I go up to Whistler for Christmas. Yeah. But
I thought you would enjoy it. I
absolutely do. I get a chuckle.
As a man of the North.
Because I don't have to do it anymore. But anyway, what's going on, folks? We are so happy to be here. We've got a lot of MASL soccer to talk about from the past weekend. Some big games that went down. And which to pick as number one? Let's go, Phil, with the San Diego Sockers opening their new Front Wave Arena, this beautiful facility. 4508 on hand to watch possibly the top game of the weekend. There were some really good ones, but against Utica City. And Phil, take us through.
So Utica City went out west to open their season. And talking point among talking point on this one. So the first half, I must say, was a bit of a difficult watch. Yeah, a little bit. A lot of reviews, a lot of challenges. I would add a lot of needless challenges too, if I must say. Controversial red flags thrown by the coaches. I thought they were wasting challenges here, and it would come back to be a bit of a narrative in this one. But man, was it an occasion to watch?
That was my goal.
Oh, is it?
We'll talk about later. Yeah, off that set piece on the, it wasn't a banger, but just beautiful ball movement by Utica on that one. The replays had some really good close-ups of it. But anyway, just some great goals. That was one of them. And go on, Phil. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
No.
There was a lack of flow for sure in the first half with all the challenges, and then things kind of got going.
Yeah, and it was a back-and-forth contest. We kind of thought San Diego coming into this one would be a mad team, an angry one after last week's quote-unquote upset up in Tacoma. But Utica, they hung in all game. It was a back-and-forth contest. Andrew Coughlin was spectacular in net for Utica. This one that fell asleep a little bit here on this play to give the goal to the Sockers.
Beautiful goal. Yeah.
I thought Utica handled themselves very well in a place that they don't usually play very well in. But, we're going to get to it soon here. And really the dominating factor in this one, I would say, are two things. The first one being Utica's new number 9, Kelvin Oliveria, an absolute Alex. I don't think I'm a subject of hyperbole here to say we have a new superstar in the MASL.
He's from Brazil. Utica. I almost said you guys because you're from Utica, but we're not going to associate with UCFC. But they signed him last March. He didn't play any regular season games. He did play 2 playoff games, but he's got 8 points in his first, or 7 points, I think, in his first 2 games now. He was just insane this weekend. So, definitely a new superstar in Utica.
So they called that one a goal for Oliveira. He was,
right
he
call.
was spectacular, right? Craig Elston on the broadcast, I think, accurately diagnosed it. He was the fittest player on the park coming from Brazil. He was just
there's the big. Are we going to get a replay on this one? Because this is the controversial play. Pardon me on the interruption, but this was the controversial play in overtime. Utica scores, but you see down on the turf, Pee Wee Ortega, and there. So here's the foul. Here's a better angle. He gets him in the face. Utica goes on to score the overtime winner. So we thought, and then got him in the face. There's no question about it. But the play continued. There was no call. They scored the overtime winner. Then the referees decided to review this. You and Ryan Sigich are going to have a field day with that. And San Diego goes on to win the game. But Phil, what did you think of that play? And as I said, you and Ryan are going to have a field day with this one.
Yeah.
There's a lot to take in on that play. What was your take on it?
Lots of calls, lots of decisions in this one. I think it's, to sort of TLDR my thoughts on this one. Not clear and obvious if he made contact, but I question sort of making a call going to the monitor. It's a bit of re-refereeing, in my opinion, on that one. Utica can definitely feel hard done by, and if they do, I've got a lot of sympathy there on that one. But San Diego shouldn't apologize for their win either, because less than a minute later, we can obviously, interpret that as brains were switched off and Morales gets his second goal of the game for the Sockers win, and sending the San Diego fans home happy. But I do think if we could spin it a little bit to San Diego, I'm still a little bit wanting more from them. I thought their offense wasn't clicking as much as it can. On the defensive side, they were missing Serta. They were missing Mitchell Cardenas. Utica is, especially with Oliveira, is quite the offensive powerhouse. So I think they acquitted themselves well on the defensive side without those pieces. I'm still wanting to see more on the offensive side from the Sockers.
They will have a chance this weekend upcoming, which we'll get to in a later segment because they're playing Tacoma again. Let's quickly go over Utica. The night before, they were in Empire, another game that was on CBS Sports Golazo. This was a fantastic game up until the fourth quarter when Utica pulled away, but at one point, Empire was up, 6-4 in the third quarter. Another beautiful Fabian goal right there.
Great shout from Doc, too, on the broadcast. Fabian has a goal in every game he's played in the MASL.
And he is what did you call him? The Mike Trout of the MASL, Phil?
I called Fabian the Mike Trout of the MASL because what's the meme about Mike Trout, right? Mike Trout goes 3 for 4 with 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, and the Angels lose 9-7. That's kind of Fabian's career with the Empire here. Off-season champions signing a whole bunch of new players. Alex Bradley still hasn't played for Empire, which I think is a big piece coming for the Strikers. But, we've got a lot of expectations now on this team. New coach, new players, and we still want to see more. They're now 0-3 on the season.
Not the start that they were hoping for after all those big signings. But you're right, Fabian just continues to come through and through and through for the Strikers.
And there's a possible goal of the week there.
That was a beautiful little floater over top for sure. Phil, we got to take a break. We can continue on talking about this in a moment here, but we do have to take a quick break. So more MASL Monday coming back in just a moment. Stick with us, everyone. Welcome back to MASL Monday, everyone. Alex Bastiavansky and Phil Levanco. We move on from the Empire Strikers against Utica. Keith, was there something else you wanted to add about that, Phil? Coming back from that?
No, I just wanted to say Andrew Coughlin had another great game. He made a phenomenal stop on Fabian in the third quarter. And again, another one, turning point of that game, Kelvin Oliveria, double blue card in the third quarter while Empire were up a couple goals. Utica score on the penalty, score on the ensuing power play.
Take everyone through just quickly what the double blue card means, Phil, and what the sequence was of events there.
So what happened was Kelvin Oliveria had the ball advancing towards the goal. He was held back. That's a blue card stopping a promising attack. He breaks through that challenge, heads one-on-one to the goal, ends up getting tripped by the Empire keeper. That's another blue card, right? That one happened in the box, so the penalty happens there. Then you get the other blue card for stopping a promising attack. So 2 goals from Utica send them on their way to victory and puts Empire in a tough spot for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Savage in Tacoma. To me, this is the game I was so looking forward to watching from the weekend. And this lived up to its billing. These are 2 teams. Tacoma, of course, finished the season as the second hottest team in the league, I believe, last year, after obviously undefeated Monterey in the regular season. But Tacoma enters the playoffs on a 9-game winning streak. They gave Chihuahua all they could handle in their 3-game series. And this was the game that I was really looking forward to because it was a true litmus test for Tacoma early in the season after taking down San Diego in their first game. Oh, man, they gave Chihuahua everything they could handle. They probably should have won this game, Phil.
Well, they certainly had enough chances, right? You're talking about the Tacoma opportunity to show us something. I'll talk about the Savage opportunity to show us something, right? Because we all know about Corner Sport Arena, 28-5-3 in their lifetime at Corner Sport Arena. But that record away is a little bit closer, right? There's an opportunity to take the Savage down when they have to travel to the States. So, I wanted to see how the Savage traveled this year to a team that has had their number recently. Yeah. And, back and forth game, low scoring affair, right? Both goalkeepers, I think, in my opinion, had a great game, but we're just watching some goals here, and there were some crackers.
Well, there was your Perera spinorama goal a second ago. I think that I have a strong feeling that might be your goal of the week.
Nick Perera had a great game. He was on another level for sure. This was his opportunity to win the game in the shootout after his first successful attempt. Unfortunate on this one. And then the Savage would go on, deposit this one in the back of the net, and win the game. A very good road win for the Savage against a team that I think you're quite impressed with so far this year.
I am. And for those who may not know, there's a 5-second clock on the shootout there. So you can go forwards, you can go backwards. You've got to get that ball in within the first 5 seconds before the buzzer goes off. And that's what Chihuahua did. But listen, Nick Perera, there's a term that I like to use, is you build up credit in your lifetime when it comes to certain things. And Nick Perera has built up a ton of credit to draw from. So yeah, he's going to miss, a couple shots in the shootout, but man, Tacoma's not there without Nick Perera, getting to that spot. He also scored on that first shootout goal, which we didn't see there, but where it's one of the best shootout goals I've seen in some time. He picks up the ball, he's dribbling the ball as he goes in and then unleashes the shot and beats the keeper. Anyway, what a great game. I am so pumped to see Tacoma this season because the way they finished last year, and after years of being a middling team, sort of like on the playoff bubble, to me, Tacoma right now, it's them and Chihuahua as the 2 powers of the league. Okay. That's my take on it right now in this early part of the season. Now, that being said, Tacoma is going to San Diego this weekend. So San Diego is going to probably throw egg all over my face. But I love what I've seen from the Stars so far. There's just something about seeing a team that's been so close to emerging for some time, Phil, that finally puts its pieces together. And I just think it's really exciting to see Tacoma doing as well as they are so far.
Yeah, I did not have Tacoma in the same stratosphere that you have. So the egg is that they're saving for you in San Diego is currently on my face with Tacoma. They've been really good. Mijatovic has been an addition last year for them, and he's continued just being a piece for that team and to all the other pieces that they have in Tacoma, it's been a strong start for sure.
Yes. That being said, you've got to have longevity. This is a marathon, not a sprint, right? So yeah, maybe I'm just getting overexcited because I am in the Pacific Northwest here, Vancouver, Canada. Anyway, Tacoma's the closest team to me. So it's been cool watching them do as well as they have. But we'll get to the game in San Diego later on in the next segment, talking about our games we're looking forward to this weekend. But let's talk about Milwaukee and St. Louis. And 7-6 Milwaukee in this one. Unfortunate little deflection there. But the last 3 matchups have ended up as 1-goal victories for Milwaukee. Phil, what did you think about this one? Were you expecting that the way that St. Louis has started the season, losing their first 2 games, and Kansas City sort of having, for the most part, a pretty easy time over those couple of games against them? Were you expecting Milwaukee to have, to have a bit more of a spread in this game in their victory, considering they took down KC last weekend?
So I really wanted to see a response from St. Louis in this game. Difficult start to the season after all the pieces that they've brought in, playoffs being the expectation. And I wanted to see an adjustment. I wanted to see some spark. I wanted to see some offense. You noted those 1-goal games. These are the type of games the Wave play, right? They don't really outpace a team. They make adjustments at halftime and really get across the finish line at the end of the game, and that's all they care about, right? They're not there for style points from a MASL talk show, right? So I wanted to see some stuff from the ambush. I saw that goal right there from Frank was his only goal of the game, and I think they're in a tough spot in the ambush now, right? Because the schedule
is it panic time? Is it panic time in St. Louis, Phil? With all the additions they made, I know you had big expectations for the ambush coming into the season with the changes they'd made, some guys they brought in, obviously the Tayu brothers. But what is your thought on that now? Is it panic time?
I think so. The schedule doesn't get any easier for St. Louis. They have the Comets next. They have the Comets for the next 2, and really they have a difficult schedule upcoming. Chihuahua after that. So, it's an interesting moment, and it's a difficult moment for the ambush. And after the pieces that they acquired in the offseason, I'm pretty sure that they thought they would be in a better position with the first 3 games.
I thought they would. I thought they would take at least one of those 3 games for sure. Coming into it. But let's quickly go over. Actually, before we get to the KC Dallas game, just a really quick question. What does this say, do you think, about those Midwest teams, let's call it, now that we're all in the same division? KC fairly easily handles St. Louis in the first 2 games. Milwaukee then beats KC, but then Milwaukee has a tough time with St. Louis. Is there going to be a power in those Midwest teams if they're so closely bunched together? Because I don't see much separation. If Milwaukee loses, or Milwaukee beats KC, KC beats St. Louis, but then Milwaukee barely beats St. Louis. What's your take on that? That's just a word salad that I'm throwing.
Are you asking me for some power rankings, Alex? Are you asking me for some power rankings?
Looking at the former West teams as compared to the former East teams here, what's your take on that? Like, where do you see these KCs and Milwaukee's ending up this year? Are they mid-tier teams, or are they in that upper echelon?
I've got upper echelon, especially for KC. I think Milwaukee's kind of up there, but I don't think Milwaukee has like a main goal scorer, and I would love to see that kind of come up. Ian Bennett was held scoreless in this game.
Bennett, we're calling your name here. Yeah,
but he's been the man for so long, and Father Time is slightly undefeated in this sort of race. So I've got Kansas City a bit higher than Milwaukee on this one. St. Louis a little bit of ways to go, just because I don't think the struggles that they've had this early part of the year, I think they really have a lot of correction to do. They're still trying to figure it out, but they're running out of time quick.
Agreed. So are we, because we got to take a break, Phil. We will be back in a couple of minutes. Stay with us, please. More MASL Monday coming up in just a moment. Welcome back, everyone, to MASL Monday. Alex Bastivansky and Phil Levanko as we close the show out here with our final segment. One game that we did miss that we should talk about, KC and Dallas. And this is the old taking care of business for sure. KC 9-2.
BTO? Taking care of business?
Bachman Turner overdrive, my friend. A good old Canadian boy from Winnipeg. Right. Randy Bachman, yep. Yeah. But 9-2 KC. This was not unexpected, but just any comment on this real quick? Unfortunately, not very close in that one.
No, Kansas City jumped out early again. I think it's a trend that we should look out for is Kansas City hot starts in the first quarter. What I really want to talk about is Marcel Berry. He's been a revelation for the Comets since he signed over from St. Louis. Looked like a nasty injury too. Left the game, and we want to wish him the best. We hope it's not as serious as it kind of looked. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV, but it didn't look great. So somebody who's had a really strong start for the Comets, really shrewd signing. We just want him to get better.
Absolutely. Well, after that Zach Reggett scare in the first week as well, when we ended up playing the rest of the game, Marcel Berry not so much. So yeah, Marcel, our best wishes for you to hopefully get better soon. Phil, what games are we most looking forward to this weekend? Let's start with you.
Man, I'm looking forward to this Empire weekend. They got 2 games, one at home against the Tacoma Stars, and then they are on the road in Texas for the Outlaws debut. They need 6 points from these. That's about as clear as I could describe it. They started the season on the wrong foot, and they need to course correct as quick as possible.
And we have to give a shout out, of course, to our buddy Eddie Pruskarich, friend of the show, who's making his coaching debut with the Outlaws. Eddie, we're so happy you've got this opportunity with Texas. At the same time, we're sad because we would have Eddie on probably like half the shows at least last year, right?
All of them, yeah.
Anyway, all of them pretty much. We wish him all the best in Texas. You know what? For me, it's Tacoma and San Diego on Friday. It's going to be such a good one. San Diego gets punched in the nose in their first game in Tacoma. The first time they had lost their opening game of the season since 2019-2020. Is that correct, Phil? That was the stat you had last week. And to me, it's going to show how Tacoma does on the roads, how they do it against the San Diego team that's going to be really charged up, and also for the Sockers to show you a bit more, Phil, because you want to see a little bit more from San Diego. So,
well, the puzzle pieces are, one game Costa was missing, this game the defense was missing. So they're chopping and changing there in San Diego. We all assume they're going to get better, but we're still just kind of, it's trucking along. And you're right. This is going to be a great game from both sides of it. I did not expect you to be such a Tacoma fan when we started this show.
They finished the game, the last season on a 9-game winning streak. They took down Chihuahua in a regular season game. They took down Chihuahua in a playoff game. After going 0-5 against San Diego, I mean, I just watched the development from the start of the season where they were sort of getting blown out by the Sockers, how they got things together when they brought on Mijatovic and other guys, and Perera coming back from injury, and then taking that last game against San Diego, the 6th and final regular season game. That was the one that was really like, we're seeing a real sea change here in Tacoma. So anyway, I love San Diego, though. I love the Sockers, their history, and everything. Like I said, there's a good chance they're going to throw egg on my face this weekend anyway. I'm not discounting the Sockers, just putting that out there. So let's talk about winners and losers from this weekend. We got about a minute and a half here, Phil. Your winner?
Utica. It has to be. Biased opinion, some might say. But, I mean, they had a super impressive weekend. I questioned how the offense would look with all the pieces that they lost. But, I mean, they've got a superstar. And as long as Kelvin Oliveria is around, they're going to have a chance to be in every single game. I mean, there's not a lot of times that we get to sit on this show and say, we've got a superstar in the house. And you know what? That number 9 for Utica is. I will give one more winner, though, on Utica. Andrew Coughlin was absolutely lights out in net. If he's not goalkeeper of the week, I will spend 8 minutes next so ranting why he's not it.
We got 35 seconds left. You want to know who my loser of the week was? Utica. And not because they played terrible. They were fantastic. Just getting, I'm not going to use the word robbed, but having to lose that game against San Diego, which you and Ryan are going to go through in detail on MASL under review. But just, to have victory snatched away from you like that, terrible feeling. But Utica, fantastic performance this weekend. So certainly not in a negative way do I mean that. But we are out of time, my friend. Everybody, please just remember, follow us on social media. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that great stuff. And of course, MASL TV on YouTube and right here on CBS Sports Golazo for all those games. Be sure to check the MASL and CBS Golazo website for game times. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Phil, I'll see you next weekend, buddy.